Alrighty, so Wrathgate. Wrath of the Lich King Classic. World of Warcraft. Your boy has been putting into work ever since pre-patch for Wrath of the Lich King has launched. Well, when I say putting into work, I mean I've done the shit that I've been given. I've completed every single possible detail that you could have done on the pre-patch. Everything has been completed. I've actually even fully done a raid, which I wasn't expecting to do. I did KZ and got geared as fuck. Your boy's gotten gear. Your boy's gotten loot. I've got the 4-piece set from the pre-patch event. I got the double trinkets from the pre-patch event. I've got all the extra goodies. Everything that you could basically savor, collect, and use, but not use because I'm going to collect it. Going to go into my bank. I've got everything done. But we're here today to adventure on into Wrathgate, probably the best cinematic in Wrath of the Lich King's history, and one of the first of its kind when it comes to cinematics. But this is a 9-minute video. Let's go. Let's watch. I cannot wait for Wrath of the Lich King, and I cannot wait to quest.
A lot of the voices were actually done by employees. When Bolvar, as he walked past the battlefield, you heard different Alliance soldiers. One of those was me. Forlorn on! Forlorn on!
Imagine. I feel like they've done this 5 different times for the cinematic.
Lead cinematic narrative designer for World of Warcraft. Today we're going to be talking about Wrath of the Lich King, more specifically in-game cinematics and how they came to be.
I feel like they've done this before, 5 different times.
Arthas claimed Frostmourne, and it claimed his soul. And it is here where the spire of Ice-Crowned Citadel towers over the frozen wastes. The story will continue in World of Warcraft. Blizzard has always had a legacy of just great cinematics. The video team had a lot of fun putting together these gameplay trailer moments, including the Black Temple, Zulamon, the Sunwell.
World of Warcraft does
side projects like No Mer.
I'm not gonna lie, World of Warcraft is probably one of those games that has the best, and I mean the best, cinematics of any game possible. Also, yes, we hate the storyline, but World of Warcraft is absolutely freaking rich with storyline that no other game can compare to.
News.
Just saying. And it's brilliant.
The creative leadership team of World of Warcraft began to see these as having greater potential, so we looked to in-game cinematics for the first time.
Machinimas!
Well, they came to us with a script, and it was evident from the pages that this was a major moment. This was the first time that the Lich King would confront the players in the flesh.
I will show you the true meaning of fear.
The character model looks so much different than the AI model.
With our storyboard artist actually drawing pen on paper and created over 400 line drawings, and it revealed just the sheer scope of the complexity of the project. So now a handful of video artists are given an exciting and almost terrifying opportunity to make a cinematic using the in-game engine. But the engine really wasn't designed to do it. There'd never been any cinematic expressions in World of Warcraft, with the exception of these gameplay trailers that we've been putting together. So we were gonna have to get innovative, we were gonna have to try new things, and we ended up doing a whole lot with the engine we never thought was possible. The very, very most important part of any filmmaker's toolkit is the camera. And we really had
real people were doing cinematics before World of Warcraft, so these guys kind of took the ideas from that, just to give you a heads up.
Esports in WoW were in its early days, but they needed the ability to have a really good camera to follow the action. And so the commentator hookup in the game engine gave us the opportunity to write a WoW add-on called Camera Guy. Just like your damage meters, just like your UI. And this tool allowed us to do things we'd never done before in the engine. We could pilot a camera through, and it could buffer and smooth the actions, and then we could play that path back again, which allowed us to record a...
Is this a real add-on that I can download?
Layer them together. This is what allows us to up the visual fidelity and really get depth in our scenes, and it produced some pretty good results. Even
have I been flying in first person to try to get my cinematics for my videos? Have I been flight pathing to get my talkovers? What am I doing, bro? I could have gotten this add-on? What?
14 years later, the fundamentals of Camera Guy and our add-ons are still used by our video department to capture in-game material. So the Wrathgate was ultimately the confrontation of 3 armies. Any fighting that you see on screen was NPCs that we specifically created to fight each other. But if we actually needed them to move from point A to point B, we didn't have the technology to do this yet. So what did we use? People. We actually had up to 40 quality assurance testers that would join us on voice chat, and we'd get the raid together, and they would take their places. 1, 2, 3 action.
Imagine being
Run
one of
from
those
here to
guys.
there, run from here to there.
You
Sometimes
can
we'd have
say,
custom models,
I
and when we used
was
these custom
in the
models, they were
Wrathgate
only really
cinematic.
loaded on the computer that was our camera. Some of the QA testers who were working as our actors, when they loaded into the game, they wouldn't see what we were seeing through the camera lens. They'd see little squares of blue and white checker patterns. And they kept asking on voice chat, are you sure it looks good? Does it look correct on your side? And we'd be like, yeah, no, it looks awesome. And it did look good.
It did.
Up, sons of the Horde!
Professor Putrid, my guy.
Was when the army of the Horde actually descended from their fortress and rode up the steps of the Wrathgate on the back of their wolves. And if you watch that shot, you'll see that actually it's a whole bunch of players lined up. They all hit run. They all hit slash.
I cannot
clear
wait for this
right on the mark.
expansion.
Targa! For the Horde!
And that was
I
all
really
done
cannot
in
wait
real time,
to
just
quest
like a role-playing session,
and
as
enjoy the
role players would
storylines.
Make up their scene and play out a high adventure of the Horde storming the Wrathgate.
Arthas!
A lot of the charm of the Wrathgate.
I'm going to casually enjoy the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. Because yes, when I played Wrath of the Lich King, that's when I was raiding 6 to 7 days a week when I was with guilds, from Naxxramas all the way until the end of Ice Crown. I was no life in it to my max potential. And I am happy that I did that, because I can say I was a part of, in World of Warcraft, well, I can't say I was a part of, I was the #1 freaking most geared warlock on the server that I was on. #1 gear score, that's me. I was flexing on the haters with my gear score. Everybody, bro. I was the one creating groups on pugs on off nights. When my guild wasn't, when we finished fully cleared, and then we started like basically just rerunning the raids. On off nights, I would create my own groups for like alts and stuff. I was the gear score whore, bro. I was the dude that you despised. I was the guy nowadays that looks for 90,000 mythic rating to do a mythic 2. That was me. But because I play casually now, I hate those guys.
Cinematic in my heart is that it's truly in-game. And keeping it in that art style, I think, is valuable to create a more...
My favorite, so Professor Putrid, as you can see here, top 5 NPC in World of Warcraft, top 5 character in my books in World of Warcraft history. I love him.
cohesive experience for the player. That's not to say that we didn't do some cosmetic work on the characters. We actually up-resed the feature characters of the Wrathgate quite a lot. Before the character models were redone in Warlords of Draenor, the human male face had eyes with 6 sides on the pupils and didn't even have teeth. And we had to do a lot of work around that area to make it deform in a satisfying way.
I've just noticed
in a way that it didn't
what he's talking
move
about.
away from exactly what you thought the characters looked like. The thing about the Wrathgate is it was probably over 90% of the shots were done using animations that already existed in the game. One of the most iconic lines of the Wrathgate.
Did you think we had forgotten?
My guy!
Is just Putrid up on the hillside, and he's just doing the slash bow animation, but at like 3% speed. You just take the speed slider all the way down, and he's actually doing this off camera and leaning down. Did you think we had forgotten?
I love this game,
What
bro.
would be the wiser that was really just an emote.
Expect a lot of Waddle Cake
Running
freaking
into the frame
videos
and
here.
uppercutting the undead. If you could actually,
And I hope you guys can
shot
join me
apart,
on my
you could
adventures
see
as
that
well.
It was a hard swap from one animation to the other, just covered up by that foreground object. We used a lot of tricks to make sure that we could use the in-game animations effectively. My team started getting really innovative with the vehicle tech. This was a new technology that allowed players to kind of attach themselves to another object and drive it around. At the end, the big scene with the dragons as they're laying down the red dragon fire, we needed dragon breath. Instead of doing traditional composite methods, we ended up making a vehicle out of the fire on the ground. The pillar of fire breath would sit in the seat of the fire, and then the dragon would attach to the pillar of flame. And the whole thing was now a car. We would just drive around the battlefield, and it looked like a dragon strafing.
I mean, it's
Really,
smart.
it was just this vehicle being piloted around. One of the things that made the
It's
Wrathgate
great
so
how they
memorable
did
is
this.
that it wasn't just the cinematic. And one of the coolest things that supported the Wrathgate was the new technology of phasing. When phasing technology came online, the events of the movie actually transpired in the game. And seeing how dynamic the world had become, both before and after, was completely new. And phasing is the technology that allows this to happen. As the Wrathgate started coming together, it actually inspired the content and quest design team to look to what needed to happen in the aftermath. We needed to follow through on the events of the Wrathgate now, immediately, right in the quest follow-up. And that's how the battle for the Undercity came to be. As things come online and other designers see what other people are working on, it can reflect and push the story forward.
Soon we march upon our fallen city and reclaim it.
And death to the living!
When the Wrathgate first went live in that beta program and we started getting the feedback, and it was some of the most positive feedback we'd received, all the hard work we'd done was paying off. This changed World of Warcraft. It made it feel more immersive, like the story was coming to life. And it had a profound effect moving forward in World of Warcraft. Through all subsequent updates, in-game cinematics became a major staple of all major moments in the game.
Look at the
I'll never forget
difference,
my
dude.
experience working on the Wrathgate.
Look at the
wonderful
difference.
crew who worked on it with me, and how much it meant to me as a player, as a fan, as someone who just loves Warcraft. And even 14 years later, and dozens of in-game cinematics that have come in the aftermath, there's nowhere else I'd rather be. There's nothing I'd rather be working on. Thanks for taking this trip down memory lane with me, and I really hope to see you in Northrend. Take care.
Cannot wait, and I hope you guys join me on my Wrath of the Lich King Classic live streams. Expect it to be casual. Don't expect me to be raiding 6 to 7 nights a week again. I'm basically just going to be continuing how I'm playing currently in World of Warcraft into Classic. So what I mean by that is I will complete every little bit of content that I possibly can. I'm going to be questing and completing all the zones. I'm going to be freaking doing all the raids. I'm going to be doing all the dungeons. I'm going to do everything. So don't you worry. I'll PvP as well. Things will get done and it'll be fun. But I hope you guys enjoy. Catch you next time. Peace out, everybody.